She and Maya were currently living with her mother, too. She'd been trying to find the right situation to be able to move out, but there weren't a lot of homes for rent in this artsy, outdoorsy, spiritually focused community. And with her mother sick so often these days, Jada was needed at home. It'd be different if her father was still around, but... She steered her mind away from Jeremiah. Losing him earlier in the year to a stroke when he was only 55 had not been easy, especially because she felt she'd let him down so terribly and never had the chance to make it up to him, as she was trying to do with her mother and brother. "Sure," she said about the kale. "Maybe it'll boost Mom's immune system. It's supposed to be really good for you." Pausing in front of the closest stand, she chose a particularly healthy-looking bunch of leafy greens and was just handing the vendor her money when she heard her name. She turned to see Tiffany Martinez, a friend she'd gone to school with from 5th grade on, hurrying toward her in a short-sleeved button-down blouse, sandals, and shorts, similar to what she was wearing herself. Because Jada had had a baby just as everyone else was going off to college, her life had taken a completely different course, one that had put her out of sync with a group of friends she'd grown up with. For the first several years after moving to LA, she'd felt overlooked, abandoned, left behind, while everyone else went away to college and documented all the fun they had on social media. Watching them on her computer while struggling to raise a child, when she was barely more than a child herself, had only made that period of her life harder. But Tiffany had always been supportive and remained in touch, and everything was changing now that so many of their other friends were getting married and having children. Jada had been able to reconnect with several who still lived in the area. Tiffany would always be her favorite, though. She was also the only one who knew Jada's most guarded secret. "Hey, Tiff." She put the kale into her reusable tote and hung it on the back of Atticus's wheelchair. Jada had told Tiffany she was going to the farmer's market when they spoke on the phone last night, which was what had prompted Tiffany to come, too. Like Jada, she was recently divorced, only she didn't have any kids, so she was always looking for things to do when she wasn't working at the regional hospital as a nurse. They would have come together. They did a lot together. But Tiffany hadn't wanted to change the chemistry of Jada's morning with Atticus. "Glad you made it." "I've been here for a while. I was just leaving when..." She tucked her curly red hair behind her ears as her eyes, so green and clear they were almost startling, darted to Atticus, a captive audience in his chair. "When I saw something that reminded me of you and made me wonder if you were still here." So Tiffany hadn't accidentally spotted her and come over to say hello. She'd come looking for her. "What was it?" Again, Tiffany glanced uncomfortably at Atticus. "A person, actually. Someone we knew, a while ago." Jada's heart began to pound as her friend's behavior connected with a scare she'd had only a few minutes earlier. With the way Tiffany was acting, so flustered and overly aware of Atticus listening in. "Atticus, would you mind grabbing some purple onions while I talk to Tiffany?" "Sure, no problem." Seemingly relieved to escape the girl talk, he rolled away as Jada led Tiffany a few feet in the other direction, just to be safe. "What is it?" she whispered. "Why do you look as though the world's about to come to an end?" Tiffany grabbed her forearms. "You don't know? You haven't seen him?" Suspicion turned to outright fear. "Him? You don't mean Maddox." "That's exactly who I mean." Shit. She had seen him. The question was, had he seen her? And why was he in Silver Springs? Jada swallowed hard. Had he returned because he'd learned about Maya? That couldn't be, could it? Her family had kept her pregnancy so quiet. She had easily been able to hide her rounding stomach beneath baggy clothes as school came to an end. Her parents had kept her home throughout the summer, her final trimester, so almost no one saw her looking unmistakably pregnant. And then she moved to LA with her newborn. Other than Tiffany, the few friends she'd kept in contact with over the years, and loosely at that, knew she'd married almost right out of high school, that she had a child and had recently divorced. But they didn't know exactly when she'd met her husband or had Maya. Most assumed Maya belonged to her ex. But if anyone really pressed for details, when and where Maya was born, they could possibly put